Now, even though it's been about 3 weeks since the big 1-inch dump of rain on the landscape. Oh, nice. This basin's all filled. Oh, wow. Yeah, this thing is super filled up. That's awesome. What's going on, everyone? I'm Brandon, and this is the Greening the Desert Project. So it's been a pretty interesting start to the monsoon season this year. And that's just the best part about monsoon season, is that after spending a few months in the hot and dry, now we're coming to all this nice, really good moisture. And now it's kind of the continuation of the tour a little bit, just to see what's growing on. This year is really interesting just for the fact that there's a whole lot more growing, and especially in a lot of the spots that in the very beginning were pretty bare, sandy, and rocky spots. And now with the goats combined with the earthworks and coming in a little under 3 years, now it's a little bit of the insight on the compounding effect of all these different practices, essentially. So I was just over there and just hopping backwards a little bit from the previous episodes, because I was talking about this swale and just a little bit of the changes that were happening on the north or the southeastern portion of the property here. And so with the continuation of the tour, because there's still plenty of stuff growing, and that's one big thing, is being able to show a lot of the earthworks that are on this southern portion, because we're getting pretty close to the property line, and then also where I'm staking in the fence line, essentially. But what's really nice is I'll be able to show just a little bit of the things that I had planted earlier in the season for kind of the high desert version of a living fence. But for now, at least, I want to just kind of key in, because the earthworks that filled up with a whole lot of water. Nice. I mean, now we're coming 3 weeks in and getting to see the different stuff that's growing. And so I'd already done in previous episodes talking about how I was just doing a little bit more with some of the swales and stuff, because for the most part they had just pretty much been made on contour and the earth had just been pushed. But now I'm more so coming through as I trim the branches for the goats, for them to eat for fodder, but also stacking a lot of the branches they eat over the swale mounds and also in the little trenches themselves, just to help with shade and building up organic material. And just, if I can find it really quick, here we go. Here's a little sunflower, a mammoth sunflower that's growing. And that was actually a seed that came from a seed pack that a viewer had sent to me. So really appreciate those sunflower seeds, because I still have a few more, so I'm going to plant some more as we get kind of further into the monsoon season a little bit. So it gets a little more interesting as we travel down the property line, and this is the southern portion, and we're traveling west, which essentially this is all downhill. And essentially that's why there's these series of earthworks, because as I had said previous, is that sometimes there's going to be little things that break or things we can't account for, especially just the intense flow of water that was happening on that initial rainstorm. And that's why coming to this swale, even this one is a little bit of the backup that will catch any of the water from off of this swale. Oop, if I get my hand out of the way, and everything from above, because I've got a little bit of a trench dug up the way that is slanted that brings the water into this area. And you'll be able to see in the video footage just all the water that filled this thing up. So if you look at the rain footage and then seeing this area dry now, there was a whole bunch of water that was going on. And that's just the best part with how much water was being dumped, is just all of this nice grass that's starting to grow over here. And this is after the goats had already come through here. So we can see a lot of the grass that's starting to poke up. And then there's also a lot of the native Indian rush peas and a few patches of grass and some of the other vegetation that's growing in this area. We zoom out a little bit, which is really nice, because before the goats had even been moved into this area, this was the key line pie area, so we can kind of get an idea, or you can look back on the episodes and see what this kind of was before. And now everything's been disturbed by the goats. But the cool part is that there was really nothing growing too much in here, and now there's a lot more vegetation that's starting to come up, and especially inside of the swale trench here. Got some nice flowers. So on this swale, even though it had a whole bunch of water fill up that basin part, and even the whole rest of the trench that's on contour, it's really interesting just to see what is growing, because there was the episode from earlier this year where I actually had started adding more rocks and then kind of marking out little rock bowls, and I was planting a lot of the different honey locust tree seeds in these pockets. So that's kind of the bummer a little bit, is so far I haven't seen any honey locust tree seeds pop up. I thought I saw one, but then it might have gotten eaten. So that's just the reality of that situation. This is what we deal with out in the open. But this 4 o'clock that's right here is doing really good. This thing is huge. It's a nice big fat green bush. And then there's some grasses all growing inside of here. You'll be able to see the little up close that I'll do. But yeah, there's all kinds of little stuff growing in here. I'll be kind of on the lookout because I did plant some amaranth and sorghum inside the trench. Oh yeah, I passed it already. This is a sorghum that was planted in the trench, but it got overfilled and the seed probably floated up into this spot right here. So that's really cool, even just the fact that this sorghum is growing, and for how big it is too. Like, that's pretty nice. It's like the size of my fist. So that thing's been growing. Oh shoot, here's another one right there. That's another sorghum. And this might be another sorghum too. Yeah, for how much water there was, I wouldn't doubt if a lot of the seeds that I planted just like floated up because of how much water there was. So that'll be the interesting part to kind of see. Oh yeah, there's some amaranth, I think, over there. Oh, okay, so we'll definitely be paying attention to this swale for all the stuff that I planted in here and seeing what comes up. But even still, it's like all the stuff that has been growing even throughout the month here with very little moisture. We got the rain dump initially, and so this is where the goats had been. So that swale basically had saved the goats really from being too washed out. So that held out a lot of water. And then this is a basin that was in there that definitely was filled with water, which is at least still nice because the goats still had all these high points to sit under the trees and stuff like that and be protected. So, but now that's the cool part, is being able to see all the stuff that's growing, even right after the goats had been in here. Oh yeah, I don't want to forget to talk about the living fence that I'm creating here. So the cat claw acacias, I did an episode on that, and I had planted a few in each little spot. So it's nice because there's at least one that's coming up in each spot. So that one's doing pretty well. And then I come down the line. This is essentially on the fence line where I'm pounding all the posts and stuff. So eventually, as these grow bigger, I'll be able to train these on the fence line that will protect the cows from coming in. Well, it'll protect me from the cows coming in, but then there'll be a nice little trellis to start all the cat claws and honey locusts and other trees and stuff like that. So this is the really cool part, that these have been surviving this whole time with no input from me. I haven't watered them and I haven't done anything. All I've really done is come and check in on them, at least just to see what they're doing. So bear with me, we're gonna walk through because I got a few of them. There's this one. Oh, the stick kind of covered it. Here's this one in here. All right, so we're moving on from the start of the living fence, and we're kind of catching up to the goats here. So I've actually still been wrapping up the fence because they were in this area previous. So there's really not going to be a whole lot regrowing just because they had come through and munched on stuff. But at the same time, there is still, like, this is an Indian rush pea. That's either like a loco weed or something, but there's also still some grass. And I can zoom in a little bit. And even though the goats had been through this area, it's still cool to just see the stuff that is growing and still continuing to grow. So I almost kind of skipped over this area where I was just talking about the goats being, and now there's just a nice little contrast at least to see this nice green that is growing actually where the goats had just been. So this is all stuff that the goats haven't eaten and what they left. And you can see all of the leftover hay material. This really nice contrast though. So this is pretty nice. It's starting to sprinkle a little bit. We got all these clouds building up. So I think we might be getting some good rain here soon and maybe some sheet flow action. We'll see. So at least just to explain things, this is one of the rain catchment basins I have, and there's still some water in there from the last rainstorm. And this is actually what I had shown in the rain video. Basically, this whole swale was filled with water, and it was so filled that it was overflowing into the rain catchment, which this is exactly what it's designed for. But then also you could see in the video just the overflow that was happening on just this spillway at least. So I could definitely build this spillway up a little bit more and maybe try and dig out the trench a little bit deeper to lead that water more to the basin over there. But it's still really cool to come to this swale and see all the stuff that is growing. There's definitely a lot of rush peas in here, so a lot of nitrogen fixing vegetation, which is really cool. Put some more nutrients in the ground. There's all kinds of grasses and other weeds / vegetation. We all have our labels, don't we? So this is cool. Zoom in a little bit. There's a lot of this green in here. So you can kind of see this whole swale. Besides the upper portion of the mound, we can see a lot of growth on either side, which is super cool. So this is where the goats are moved now, and they've only been in this area for maybe 2 or 3 days. And I'm still kind of on the trajectory of having them in the areas for about 2 weeks so they get as much of their manure and all the extras into the soil here. We build things up even more. And so there's the babies' pen as well, because they're also being rotated. And pretty soon, just because they're getting big enough, they will actually go into the bigger pen with everybody. So this was really just kind of for training, and then also just to make sure that the babies are all getting fed and they're able to get all the hay and stuff before the three stooges over here eat all of it. And we're coming to the swale that's in front of them at least, because they haven't moved over it. And there's all this nice bits of grass. There's a globe mallow right there. A bunch of globe mallow, some grass as I zoom in. More grasses. Nitrogen fixing plants. Oh, this is pretty cool just to see Here's some of the pods off of this plant. So you can see kind of, this might be some kind of nitrogen fixing plant. It's definitely different than the rush pea, so I don't know exactly what it is, but just looking at the pods even, those kind of look like pea pods if you use your imagination just slightly. So that might just be a native legume plant that we'll just kind of see what that does and if there's any more of that actually. But there was all kinds of grass in here. Everything was growing pretty well, and then the cows did come through. So, yep, forgive me, I don't have the fence completely done. You see some of my T-posts over there. So I'm still working on that. And yes, it is a little bit of a hindrance, but at the same time, we can still come to the areas and see stuff growing as I get the little plastic piece out of there. Still plenty of stuff growing and regrowing, and now that we're getting a bit more moisture, definitely should see a bit more action on everything just taking off and growing a little bit more so. Got the rain garden area so you can see kind of how all this looks. Not too much green going on. There's very limited vegetation in this area, so probably move the babies through this area just to get a bit more mulching kind of down and organic material. But this swale, like I said before, this one overfilled and was full of water and basically had the double terrace pretty submerged for all that water. So that was really cool to see. And you saw maybe that bit of lightning back there. But that's where in the video, just looking at the overspill points. So it's nice to have documented all this because now I can really see for myself and look back actually on what needs fixing and just kind of how everything was reacting with the rain altogether too. That's the benefit. But this area right in here, this whole area, I mean, if you look back on the way beginning episodes, this area was just all like this, just bare, the sand, the gravel. And now it's just really cool to see after less than 3 years even, how much vegetation has really kind of just taken hold and stayed around and started growing and contributing to building the soil up here. Now coming to the end of the property. This is coming pretty close to my southwestern corner, but this is where the last initial defense on the property is for the rainwater. And I've got these 3 big basins that my friend had helped me dig out not last year, the year before, I think. Yeah, that was the year before. So, but the downside is I still need to do a little bit of work on this edge just to help guide the water more into these basins, because essentially what we're looking at all together is this whole side has a whole lot of sheet flow. So hence there's all these different earthworks to stop and slow that water. But at the same time, the earthworks have been staggered out and designed in a way that they all overfill to each other. And so essentially coming down the line, everything has been chained together to where anything that is overflowing, any remaining water basically is going to these 3 bigger basins. So it kind of goes, these 2 are a little bit smaller, and then there's the big major one over here. So that one I'm going to definitely put a liner in because there's a whole lot of water potential to catch in that area. But it's always a pleasure just to come to this spot in particular, because for what this was in the very beginning, and then looking at how things look now, it's really cool to just see all the vegetation that is growing, all the new grasses and different stuff kind of taking over here. Starting to fill in, that's the cool part. Everything's starting to fill in a little bit at a time. And then just to show before the basins even, this was kind of my on contour rock leaky weir swale kind of thing that has the Zuni bowl on the one end, but I actually think I've got some plans for some other things down the line here. But that was really cool just to see how this functioned through the rain. Come up to the Zuni bowls, the step-by-step Zuni bowls. So that one You can see how it fills up and then it starts leading through the trench there, or kind of the rock swell that I got going on. So then it helps spread it across that way. And I guess since I'm talking about the Zuni bowls, 3 weeks later, we finally get some more rain.
It's a day that begins with all crystal blue skies, a gentle cool breeze as we watch the sunrise, the change of the winds and the gusts that start blowing, a sign of the monsoon and the storms that are showing. The rain starts light, but it's just the beginning as it soaks the dry sand, the hydration it's bringing, the clouds that rise high, mixing water and air, and this is the
I got a little work to do because I wanted to address the title. Dear Mr. Free Will, what made you wailing? Wonderful question, huh? Let's see if I can find my way over to there we go. Hello.
Bonjour, monsieur.
I like
What do you mean God is in? What do you mean God is imprisoning all up?
in stubbornness.
Oh, all up in stubbornness. Yeah, unpersuadableness.
Yeah.
You can't persuade them.
Is that a
He's
better
locked up their brain.
is that a better word? Unpersuadableness?
I think so.
Okay, I'll use it.
Stubbornness, unpersuadableness. They are unpersuadable as to the truth. It's like JG.
Yeah.
He cannot be persuaded. It's not his fault because he was locked up.
I know.
His
isn't that funny?
conscience or brain or heart, his whole mind was locked up in this prison,
Uh-huh.
and God unlocked us from the prison. It's not our fault we were unlocked.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's calling. Could you hear the ringing?
I heard a little bit, yeah.
Craig DeFlaro was trying to call.
Oh yeah. Unpersuadableness. Okay, got it.
Justin Elders, J.E. Hi,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Elders. They
Hey,
say we should honor our elders.
no, not me. I'm worthless.
No, you're an elder. You're an elder.
It's just my last name.
Do you have any relatives in Lancaster, Ohio?
In Ohio?
Yeah, in Lancaster, Ohio. There were some elders who lived down the street from me when I was a kid.
I don't know. Much of my family is originally like near like Lansing, Michigan. So maybe.
Hmm. Were they Ohio State Buckeyes fans?
Probably not. I don't know.
Well, if they lived near Lansing, you would think that they would hate Michigan and root for the Buckeyes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really know anything about any of that. I'm struggling mentally.
With
I don't know.
struggling with what?
Mentally, I just can't help to feel, I wake up and I can't avoid believing any of this, but it's like, I don't know why I believe any of it. It feels forced. Other than I can read what it says and I understand what it says, but I mean, like, why the fuck do I believe it? Am I crazy? You know? Why do I believe?
Well,
And the fact I'm just
well,
laying here with my eyes closed and I'm just thinking, like, how, like, where would I even go to even consider anything? Like, the fact I was telling Sean, I was saying, like, when I was a child, or like younger, it'd be easy to, like, look up things rather ignorantly and say, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of this or that? Or, and then you become a Christian and you're getting deceived by every wind of your preference, and that you just go, if you read something you don't like, you go watch a video on YouTube to help reinforce reasons not to believe what it says. And now that I can see what it says after a decade of unbelief in Christianity, I'm still left with this now it's just like I can't, there's nowhere to go, and but I still man, I'm like crazy. I think people here are more sensible than anywhere, and yet we think God is raising the dead. I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking with my eyes closed, what the hell's the difference? Okay, so what? We believe what it actually says, and they don't. Sure, that's evident, but we're still fucking crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, I would say we're crazy. God has given us a spirit of sanity and sound mind. The world
Yeah, I
may think
definitely
we're
think it is
crazy,
sound.
but we
It just
actually are the ones with a sane and sound mind.
it's just I agree, and that's kind of what I told you, is that there's nowhere else. I don't know anyone I don't know any people anywhere more sane than us, and yet it's still man, reality, if this is, it's still just how wild, how, what is you were talking about the other days, calling not as if it were and we're over here calling what is not as if it were, and it's hard because it's also
Yeah, well,
difficult for me, Tony, because I just turned 28. I turned 28, right? What was it again? 1998. Anyway, whatever it was, I'm just sitting here thinking oh my God, some of my family lived to 103. Am I gonna at least feel a little more? I don't know. I have issues with. I don't really have any hobbies or desires or anything. I'm just happy I'm content where I am, and I'm just content. But it's still hard because I just think I'm one of the most useless people, and I just I'm when I started believing this stuff, it's not just Christianity that instantly whoa, he doesn't believe Jesus is God, he believes he's the son of God, and then there's the first of born of creation, and first of the and that'll get you fucking thrown out of everywhere, and now but it's not just them. It's this God pulled it is, assuming I'm not insane, that. Well, I mean, if there's one God, then yeah, it's God taking everything from me.
Hey, Justin, I got an idea for you. Go to a big public park, where there's a lot of people, like a Saturday in the park, 4th of July type thing, and set up a booth and make a sign that says, "Give me 25 cents and I'll tell you my woes." Man, you'd get a lot of money that way. People just give you quarters to listen to your woes.
But Justin, you shouldn't put yourself down because the more you say it, the more your mind believes it. But you're not crazy. You need to tell yourself, I am sane and I have sanity. Never say anything negative about yourself. Only I can do that.
Yeah,
Jerk.
I just, even if I'm saying, it doesn't change that I could just be foolish.
Okay, but don't say you're foolish.
Okay, but
Quit saying negative things about yourself.
it's not about me, Tony. It's just
The mind.
I don't know.
So I got a project for you, Justin.
There's another.
This time it's a new project. Keep a food journal. Write down every damn day at every meal what you eat and write the timestamp on it. And then after you have enough entries, you can look back and see that this food is making you feel this way. And that food makes you feel that way. You can put it together. Keep a food journal. I'm sick of listening to you bellyache. And you bellyache when you eat a lot of sugar and crap. Do we have to listen to your bellyache? I haven't paid you a quarter yet. But I will pay you a quarter if I want to hear your belly aching.
Yeah, sugar is real poisonous.
Tony, remember that article that Dean wrote on overweening, the word overweening? And he figured out, he figured out that the word overweening means thinking too highly or too lowly of yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll have to look at it. See if I can find it. Shouldn't be hard to find, just search overweening in the your search program.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Lee. You know who Bruce Lee is?
Yes, of course.
Or was. He was asked, do you ever think negative thoughts about yourself? He said, no. You must never, ever think anything negative about yourself. Never say anything negative. Don't even say it. He said, the body follows the mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it, your body will start believing it. Your mind will start believing it. Never say anything bad about yourself.
Think on these things, Paul said.
Yeah.
So old Jack Smack
Never say anything bad about yourself.
So old Jack Smack has done a drive-by and says, And Jack Smack says, without free will, you dumb stooges wouldn't be making this video to promote your theological dog crap. Well, sir.
Well, I would tell Jack Smack the response of the tongues of Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
So God had him say that. Because it's his response, it's the response of his tongue. And what I just now said is of Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an unprovable idea that free will caused us to come together here.
Yeah. Well,
You cannot prove it. You can say it.
In the title of this show, Tony, the title of this particular show says, Dear Mr. Free Will, what made you willing?
Right. It's not that we don't have, it's not that we don't have a will. We all have wills, but our wills are not free from causality.
Mm-hmm.
I said this before. If free will is free from causality, then we are not responsible because nothing caused us to do what we did. It just happened. Therefore, we're not responsible. If God forced our hand on any given thing, then we're not responsible because we could not have done otherwise. So either way, with free will or God's sovereignty, we're not responsible.
So Christopher says, Lamentations 3:27, who can speak and have it happen if the Lord hath not decreed it?
Mm.
Hey, Jack, you want to address
Boy, that's a good one. Where's that?
Lamentations 3:37.
Lamentations 3:37.
Right. So, Jack Smack, you want to address
It's a fact,
Lamentations
Jack.
3:27. Go ahead, Tony.
3:37. Nothing. I'm just saying that's an awesome verse. Well, I wish I was on my laptop. I could write it down.
Yeah.
Oh well. The last time we got together, I talked about the lot is cast into the lap,
Yeah.
and it looks like a free will thing, doesn't it? Everybody tosses a lot into the lap, and they put it in a bag and they shake it up, and they have a little girl go and reach into the bag and pull out a lot number. Where it looks like it's all chance, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole disposing thereof is of Yahweh.
A roulette wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things to us look like everything is chance.
I mean,
even the thought
if
you
the
think,
Lord knows
okay,
what's going to happen in the future, there's no way to avoid it.
Give me a collar.
A
Any
collar?
collar.
Blue.
Yeah, collar red, orange, yellow, any color.
Blue.
Okay. Blue. That word entered into your brain before you said it. It came from outside your brain. It actually originated outside your body and came into your brain before you said it. Did you know that?
Sweet.
So where's the free will in choosing what we're going to say?
Well, let's make this easy. What did God know that Ace was gonna say blue? Did he know it thousands of years ago? Could it be any other way then?
Oh,
And if the one guy came on here, Tony, and he said, well, he knows everything that's going to happen and every way that it won't happen. He knows everything that's going to happen and every way that it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. But it's not that he just knows it. He declares it. He declares the end from the beginning. He doesn't just know it.
Oh, I know.
And what you declare is what you must control. If you declare the end from the beginning, that this will come to pass in the end, you must control the beginning to that end so that that end comes to pass. If free will was really true, God could never know. He could never declare the end because nothing causes anything. It just happens. But because God is in control, he controls the end from the beginning and beginning to the end.
I even love the word because. The word because.
Because.
Cause.
Become. Cause.
Is
cause.
The world is round. It blows my mind. Because the sky is blue.
Tony, when do you figure? When do you believe? I don't mean when did you believe Christianity. I mean, when did you believe?
You mean when? 1973. 1973 is when I first believed God fully, without reservation, and not only believed it, but understood it, that Christ died for our sins, that he was entombed, and God roused him from the dead. 1973.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking like, I don't know, I just, as much as Ace wants to reduce what I'm saying to a meal, it is a real struggle for me that I see, like, I can't help to think, like, about what if this, what if that, and, you know, I don't want to. I mean, like, if I can say as much as, like, if there's easy things to say, like, if the scripture's true, then there's no way around what we're saying. That's easy, but that's right in front of my face. Where, like, people resurrecting out of the dead isn't right in front of my face. You know what I mean? And it's just hard.
Yeah, but we are assured Christ was resurrected from the dead. Therefore, if he was, we shall be also.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just, my
Do you
mind
believe
starts
Christ
thinking,
raised Do you believe Christ raised Jeru's daughter from the dead?
who? Jared?
Jesus raised Jeru's daughter. Jesus raised Jeru's daughter from the dead.
Who's Jeru?
Do you believe Jesus raised? That's not important. Anyway, do you believe Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead?
Yeah, I believe it happened.
Okay,
I
well,
believe it. I
then what's so hard
believe it.
about
I believe.
believing?
Yeah, I
Then why can't
believe.
you just believe that God is going to call us out of the grave?
No,
Why
I
can't you
do
just
believe
take
it.
it the next step?
No, I believe it. I just
And what's the problem?
feel like I'm insane to believe it,
No, don't
It's not
say
a
you're insane to
problem.
believe it. And don't say I feel insane to believe it. Say I am sane to believe it.
Yeah.
God has given me a spirit of sanity and sound mind to believe it. You've got to turn that thinking around. Okay.
Yeah.
And when
I guess
Satan
I
comes, and
do
he
think
surely
it's
will,
sane. I think it is sane. I just
you just
don't understand why it's sane.
don't go there. It's not you just. It's just I think it's sane, and I'm glad God is going to do it.
Yeah.
So quit thinking about what other people might be thinking about you. And when I was a new believer, when Satan would come to me and say, you're this, you're that, you're a big hypocrite, you're a sinner, rah, 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 rah. I would say, Satan, I demand you go to Jesus right now and tell him exactly what you're doing to me right now. You've got to go right now. And he probably went to Jesus, and Jesus probably slapping his hand on his thigh, going, "That's my brother down there." And he said it in Southern English. "That's my brother down there."
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you got to take control of your thoughts.
I just take control of my thoughts.
Yeah. Did you ever hear Jesus say anything negative about himself
Yes.
or God?
No, I'm
Did
messing
you
with
ever
you.
read in the Bible
It
where
depends how
God
you
said,
look at it.
I'm a failure? No, it's not how you look at it.
Oh, I meant,
You have to come to the conclusion that Jesus never called himself a failure.
oh yeah, I know.
And if we're Christ-like, we gotta quit doing that.
I was just thinking about the quote where he's like, "Why do you call me good?" And then he credits God to be good. But obviously, the point wasn't to be
Yeah,
negative.
but
I just,
see, they were always trying to find something negative about Jesus. Look, he's a drunk. He's a wine tippler. Look, he eats and drinks with sinners. Oh,
they
look
even
at
tried to make
him.
him.
Look at him.
They tried to make him say he was
He's born
God,
out of
and then
wedlock.
yeah.
Negative, negative, negative. Bam, 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 bam. And you know what
Yeah,
Jesus
what is
told them?
one of his disciples said?
Nothing.
Can any
Go ahead, Tony.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead and talk. Justin was over talking to you. I put him on mute for
Who?
the moment.
Oh, I didn't know what he was asking me. Can anything, Peter, I think one of them, he was saying, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Or,
Mm-hmm.
but that's casting negativity. Of course, something good can come out of Nazareth because something did.
Cat? I don't have anything I love to do.
And can you solve that, Justin?
No.
Why not?
That it would require having something that I wanted to do, and I don't have anything I want to do.
Do you want to complain?
No.
Well, why are you complaining? If you don't want to do something and you're doing it, dude, what's going on here? It must be a hobby. It's a favorite hobby. You're complaining, but you don't want to complain? You obviously want to complain. Don't give me that bullshit. You
I
are
wasn't complaining.
you are addicted to frustration like we all are.
No.
All right, what frustrates you?
Nothing.
You're so funny.
I mean, look, you're giving me all these put downs, and I don't respond. Nothing. I just figured maybe Tony had something that would help. My bad.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving will help you when you start. This is what I do. This is what I personally do. The very second, and you've got to be cognizant of this, the very second you start thinking something negative, and this happens often with my former wife and other people I know, the very second a negative thought about them and about me and my relationship with them comes up, I just say, I want to know nothing except Christ and Him crucified. The only thing important right now is Christ and Him crucified. And I refuse to think these negative thoughts. I just don't allow it. And I start thanking God for that I'm not like Ace.
Jesus.
No, but I thank God for my existence. I say, God, I exist. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for bringing me into existence. Wow, that's just incredible. Before the world was, you thought of me. And I just thank him. I thank him for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thank him for the warm sun. Thank him for breathing. Thank him that I don't, whatever. But Thanksgiving is a powerful thing. The very second you start thinking something negative about yourself, thank him for the positives. But get off the sugar because it can bring you down.
I'm not on any sugar. He just keeps telling me that, but it's not real.
What do you have for breakfast? What do you have for breakfast usually?
Nothing.
What do you have for lunch usually?
Usually chicken, probably.
What do you have for dinner usually?
I don't usually eat but once. It's not that. I feel usually the same. The only reason he doesn't like what I was saying was because I approach differently because I figured you would give a different response than just telling me to eat something different. So I figured maybe you had some answers.
Well, but Justin, he did say
Have
think
my
something different.
answers help?
No, I know. I'm listening.
Write it
I
down.
wasn't criticizing his response. I'm just trying to point out that that's why it's not random that I decided to come in saying any of that, but because I haven't spoken much to him, I figured it might have something particular to the situation.
About 25 years ago, when I turned 50, I started getting depressed. And so I had an argument with myself. I said, well, do I have any more or less friends? No, I don't have any more or less friends. Do I have any more or less money? No, I didn't have any more or less money. So I figured it must be biochemical because it wasn't anything else out there in the world.
I mean, I definitely have less friends, but I don't think there's anything I can do about that.
I mostly drank beer.
I really have no one compared. I used to have people.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Who's
Who's
that voice?
Hey,
don't let me interrupt. You guys continue. I'm just here to hang out
of
with
course,
you guys.
let's not let you interrupt. So, Justin, I made a joke about you setting up a table at the park, and the sign that said, "I will tell you my woes for 25 cents." But I will tell you this: I have done this on a number of occasions. I set up a table in a public place, and I made a sign that said "Advice 25 cents." And I had a couple of people came and give me a quarter and tell me their situation. I gave them my advice.
I mean, who wouldn't approach that just to see what they got out of it?
So give that a try. You want to entertain yourself and stop thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Jesus says.
Yeah, you can make at least a 25
No,
cents.
What's with the stop thinking about? What do you mean stop thinking about myself? You really think that's all I think about?
Yeah, I do.
Jesus.
Because that's
No,
all.
I've heard. Sorry. I've heard that's a good thing to do.
I can't help
if you
to think what I
focus on-
don't think about myself at all.
Of course.
But-
That's why you came in here saying, "Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is
Oh
me.
yeah,
oh,
that's what
woe
I
is me,
said.
Oh,
You-
woe is me."
Evidently, you weren't listening to anything I said. Said nothing of the matter. What I
So are we having an
my
update?
concern was all about God and His creation, and all you heard was "woe is me." Because, yeah, frankly, maybe you're practically as insensitive as possible usually, but I just let it be. You know, just to act like as if everything bothers me, and then you couldn't be any more insensitive.
Yeah, I am insensitive.
Oh, please.
On a good note, God is good and invented beer.
Amen.
So let's have some rejoicing. At least God invented beer. Come on. I'm happy about it anyway, personally. I'm happy God created
Happy
all
you're happy.
you creatures here. I'm happy God created all you creatures here so I can converse with my meandering inaneness at times. There's lots to be happy for.
Good to see you, Bill.
Lots to be happy. And good to see you. Come on, cheer up, Justin. Come on.
Hey, where's Will Freeman at?
I'm fine. I'm same as I'm always.
I don't know.
Will Freeman.
I'm not happy with Will at the moment. I've got to be honest.
You guys want to know a miracle happened?
Well, I know of one miracle already today.
Well, the best miracle is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. However, Eastmax is resurrected. I got buried by somebody and I resurrected.
Yes.
That's a miracle. I'm here
Yeah.
with you guys still today, and I'm
did you
supposed to
die?
run off this app.
Yes. Wow.
Did you die though? Because you could get buried by someone.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
physically
okay.
buried in a Mr. Beast video. He is the guy.
Yeah,
Go look it up.
No, it's actually the Mr. PDF file. But yeah, anyway. So I don't mean to interject. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What's going on?
No.
I just got here.
Are you following me?
Just talking about
You're following me, yes, Max.
I'm really not. I just saw Ace live and I saw you up
No.
here. And I saw
Oh,
Wild
no.
Card, I saw Ace. I wanted to hang out.
I'm joking.
I know.
Just,
But people are gonna clip it and they'll be like, "Oh, he's following him around."
No, I do
Yeah.
like myself a little bit of Ace, so I thought I'm going to come in with that.
I mean, you could debate the man all day on theology, but he's a chill guy.
And I do. I debate and converse with Ace often.
I think everyone in this chat with
No,
maybe
but if he
Wild
likes you,
are
Eastmax,
principles.
if he likes you, Eastmax, he's gonna make sure he tells you by telling you everything to
Well,
do.
don't poison the well, Joe. No. Just
Do
Ace,
it this way, do it that way, do it this way. You're all about yourself. He'll do that when he really likes you. Just wait.
Well, I'm just here to hang out with the gang and talk with some guys.
Bill, can you read this essay for us?
Bullying is of God.
I can. Can you hang on 2 minutes? Because I'm just about to go for a wee because I've had my last beer.
Okay.
Can you hang? Yeah, be patient.
Ooh.
2 minutes. 2
Maybe
minutes.
I'll crack one open with you.
Yeah, it might as well. I'm on my last one now because it's late over here.
I think I'll do that. I think I'll have a Sam Adams or two. I know you might not like the Patriot beer, but over in America, Sam Adams is pretty legitimate.
Ace,
Yes, sir.
did you ever see Time Bandits, the movie?
4 times, I think I saw it 4 times.
Yeah, good.
Well, at the end, the little boy asked God, "God, why is there so much evil in the world?" And God said, let's just say it has to do with man's free will. What a bunch of malarkey. It's
Yeah.
too bad he didn't say, let's just say I'm working all together for good and that this evil is temporary.
I'm back anyway.
Excellent.
All right. Do I have to agree with everything, or
You
No,
must
yeah.
agree with everything I say.
This is how Ace Dio gets you to cast spells for him, you guys.
yeah? Well, some would say that, but
Well, I mean, be careful with you read it then, right? I mean,
no, I'm all right. No, Ace knows me, and I know Ace.
yeah.
We're kind of good, you know. We agree to disagree, but I hope Ace is as fond as me as I am of him, at least.
You ain't no trouble.
Yeah, I'm not even just throwing out platitudes for the heck, you know, for the sake of it. I'm just being honest.
Mhm.
Right, here we go. If God does not cause all, then there is no God. I would have put at all. That would have rhymed then. If you said if God does not cause all, then there's no God at all. But anyway,
Okay, hang on.
go on. I'm throwing you hints here, and I shouldn't. I'll get in trouble over it.
At all.
So that just rhymes well, doesn't it? And it's all random. Obviously, I'm going to skip the time and date because we're so different in time. It's scary.
Yeah.
The preacher who's on about morals and ethics. I wonder who you're talking about there. But anyway, no, he's not God. The preacher whose focus is on human morals and ethics cannot see God. And a godless preacher preaching morals and ethics is little more than a tool of the state. These guys, these preachers who don't know God, who dare to suggest that you save yourself from endless woe. Obviously, I'm agreeing with that bit there, obviously, are really preaching that it's all random and there is no causa. But the very word God means causa. And if you don't like causa, try disposer or placer or subjector. I think I prefer subjector as my personal one out of those, personal. Because it gives a little bit of leeway for a little bit of rebellion, you know, a little like kind of naughtiness. So this moralistic dude wants you to stop sinning. Your sin is all he can see. Funny that, isn't it? That he remember. Funny that all God can see, even though he clearly states, your sins and your iniquities I remember no more. Amazing that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But God sees sin and not son. See, as an actual Christian, I believe that sin's gone, and you know what needs to be seen is son, not sin. Come on, people being obsessed with sin, get obsessed with son. And your sin is all he can see. He can't see his own sin. He can't see anything close to a big picture. He will never tell you that all is of God, nor will he tell you that God gives to all life and breath and all. Chuck in faith, chuck in grace, chuck in everything. Romans 11:36, Acts 17:25. By denying divine causality, see that's how I agree with there. So you're being clever with your words. Divine causality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know, causality. There's subtle differences. So causality, I'm going with. This moralistic big shot is reduced to a puddle of blathering about man's will and man's responsibility. Don't let the blathering fool you. He's really blathering about randomness. You see, according to him, nothing caused this or that. It was just all random. According to him, anything that happens just happens. Don't blame God. Yes, you may blame the creature for his condition, but don't blame or credit God. So the blame mod thingy on, but the credit absolutely on for. For after all, God didn't design it, create it, cause it, or place it. It just happened. Get it? It was random. Nothing more. You know, I'm kind of in betwixt the two there, don't you? But carry on. In betwixt. I think there's a better both going on there. But ultimately, God's in charge. According to this shallow-minded overlords, there's a word that Christ used for these people in Revelation, isn't there?
And what's the word?
Those who God actually hates, the Nicolaitans.
Oh yeah.
Those who lord it over. That's what
Yeah.
it means. They lorded it over the flock and the lambs, and that was very naughty. Yeah, the Nicolaitans is actually what God actually hates. But anyway, that's another subject for another time. According to the shallow-minded overlord, the only thing God has made certain of is this. You will go to hell if you don't create a good life for yourself and make yourself worthy of heaven. See, that's where the religious get it so wrong, because we done jack shit. It was Christ who made us worthy heaven bound. We done jack shit apart from the sin that made it a necessity in the bloody first place. That's my view anyway. So let me read that again, because that was funny. The only thing God has made certain of is, this is obviously according to the religious house, you will go to hell if you don't create a good life for yourself and make yourself worthy of heaven. And then you say, it gets worse. And can it get worse? Can it?
Yeah.
Or for these guys somehow believe that pain and suffering are not from God. Oh no. God would never create pain and suffering. If you have pain and suffering, it must be your own damn fault. Don't blame God. Blame yourself. And do better. If you do better, you will eliminate pain and suffering. Especially the pain and suffering of endless hell. Separated from God eternally. These guys don't see all coming out of God. Shucks, no. They see man and all man's doings. And thus, the center of their conversation is all about man and man's free will and free will actions. And don't forget, nothing caused a man to act the way he did. It's all random. No causes. Don't talk about it, causes, because it might lead back to God. We can't have that. I'm not kidding. These guys put a great distance between God and his creation, to the point they say man's will is independent of God. See, that's where it gets silly. See, this is where I disagree with the religions. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know me. I don't need a meander on my views and thoughts. I'm just reading your words.
And you're gonna catch hell from thick shades.
I'm going to catch hell from everyone, because I'm always piggy in the bloody middle here. I am.
Mm-hmm.
But it don't matter. I'm just reading.
Well, and I wanted to kind of add into that. Me and Sam don't always align on everything, and Sam will give it to me just as good as he'll give it to anyone else. So expect a video, I guess. But
I like
Sam. I think
I like Sam.
Yeah, I don't see much harm in him. I think he's just trying to.
I like Ace also.
Yeah.
What's
I
a man?
do think he should probably clean up the way he uses his AI a little bit and maybe focus more on positivity. But hey, who am I to judge?
I like him. He's very misunderstood at times. He's actually, if you actually get to know him, he's actually a nice chap.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hashed our differences out, in my opinion, in side chat comments and stuff like that. But I think we're on a good speaking terms, I hope.
And doctrinally, mostly I agree with Sam, and he agrees mostly with me. Obviously, nuances everywhere, but I'm just saying, That's just life. Isn't it?
Well, I will say the way Sam uses his AI is a lot better than the way the people I was hanging out with use their AI.
Yeah, he's good at AI.
It's really fascinating, man. He's gotten the closest to capturing my likeness on AI. That's surprising. It's still not me, but it looks enough like me to convince other people.
And anyway, if you complain, Ace, about us just going off thingy here, that was God caused that to happen, all right? So I'm just saying.
Well, sir.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me.
It was.
Anyway.
No, I'm the resident Calvinist. I'm a 5-point Calvinist, and it was all predetermined anyway.
All right. All right. So come closer. Let me ask you: can anything be independent of God? Nuances there, but I'd say generally no. All right. Just saying. If God is God, then God is all. And if anything is independent of God, especially man's will, there is no God. There is just man. It's very, you know, again, I don't mean to take your thingies, but free will has got so many different nuances, it's embarrassing. I don't believe man has free will in the sense of absolute utter will. But obviously, I believe man has volition and will to an extent, but not so outside of God. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside. You know, there's no free will outside of God, whether by causality, whether by domino effect, whether by anything. You know, I don't believe there is. I can't suddenly will myself to grow wings, or suddenly muster up £1 million to get me a Mercedes Benz. I can't do that. It's outside my realm. But anyway, there's just a man. And even man is uncertain. For at best, man is only around for 70 to 80 years or so. I'm hoping to do 100, so give me another 20 on that. These moralistic preachers know nothing of the purpose of God. They don't know the Son. They don't know the interaction between the Father and the Son. It's funny. They're certain about hell, but the rest of their blathering is all about the uncertainty about everything else. That is very sad and telling that everyone's an expert on everyone's going to hell, but very unsure about the relationship between Father, Son, us, and everything else. It is sadly telling. God is God. Man is God's creation. Who'd have thought? Man is caused by God. Man is subject to God. Man is placed by God and is disposed by God. Man's destiny is determined by the determiner of all. And there's no so-called, if you're using in the free sense, you know, the actual true sense free will. I'd agree with that. The moralistic preacher will tell everyone that their will is totally free of influence and causality, but it's only a set-up to a grift. And no sooner than the words fall out of the moralist's preacher's mouth, he is on and on about how you might got to hell, or you might have. Yeah, either go or might have got to hell suddenly. Yeah, might go to hell. See, that's why I'm here, just to proofread your things.
Yeah, you're the first reader of this essay.
Yeah. If you don't follow his
I do want to interject just very quickly, Ace. When I came in, I hit restream to my audience just because I'm here with you guys. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I just wanted you. There's no tricks or anything. I'm just trying to get my stream numbers up. That's all for Christ. So, thank you.
All right, as long as it's for the cause of Christ, that's all right.
Well, yeah, no, I'm here with you guys. I just want to on my channel restream any streams that I'm in. You know, I don't want to restream when I'm not there. If I'm there, I just want people to hear what I had to say about all this. You know, that's all.
Right. Might go.
I'm just hanging out with you guys. We're talking God, so I'm here with you.
Yeah. If you don't follow his program of holiness living, the jackass won't shout about how God is going to hold you personally responsible for every infraction, because God gave you everything you need to live moral, sinless life.
What?
And then God took a vacation. If you need any more help, you might pray, but no matter. It's now on you. Yes, it's all on you. Don't blame God if you get in any kind of trouble. And for sure, don't blame God if you go to an endless hell of pain and conscious torture throughout eternity. It's all on you, you bastards.
How you doing, Ace?
Because the separation between you and God is great. Too great for God to be bothered with.
What?
That kind of, yeah, that blows away the efficacy of Calvary, doesn't it, unfortunately? Yeah. Remember our old pal JG? Well, every chance he gets, he's quoting Romans 1:18, KJV style. It says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth and unrighteousness." It's sad that JG doesn't get the context of Romans, because that's talking about the state of all mankind pre-Calvary. But that's another issue for another night. And somehow he sees in verse 18 that man is already far, far from God. Irredeemably far. And yet he says there is a great distinction between God and man. And there's nothing left in the story to tell except wrath. Oh, can you add a little bit on the end of that?
Yeah.
I know you've done 3 there. Can you put and more wrath? Just a bit more and more wrath. We want more. 3 wrath ain't enough.
You want more? You got it.
Yeah, and more wrath. Yeah. Yeah, let's get that wrath in there. Sorry.
The law came by Moses, but wrath came.
Yeah. Right.
Wrath upon wrath.
Yeah.
Let me say the name really quick. So I was just gonna. She was wondering about the username. Like if you say a J, it's like Justin, like Justin. You can kind of hear the J in that sense. It's TZ, but yeah, it's just anyway. Go on.
All right. For this passage, the moralist preacher says to get your moral act together or pay the price. The moralist dude lives for unrighteousness and ungodliness. He makes his living off that. Man's unrighteousness and ungodliness is currency to him. Man and man's sin is the hot topic conversation with them. God and God's doings doesn't interest them a bit. Anyway, may God save us from such blindness, and may God open our eyes to see that indeed all is out of him and through him and for him. A new frontier in this journey of faith. Grace to you. You are out of him and through him and for him. I'd put in him as well. I do like a bit of in him as well, but you know, it's up to you. Sure, you'll know. Ace Theo, placed. P.S. Fear not, neither let your heart be afraid. P.P.S. Colossians 1:16 response. Dear Mr. Free Will Dude, what made you willing? Does God cause a fellow to be willing to do this or that? Does God cause a fellow to be unwilling to do this or that? So, when our old pal JG harps on us about Romans 1:18 and that there is great distinction between the Creator and his creatures, as if that justifies God burning a sinner in some kind of endless hell, we would ask, is that boy willing to admit that saying there's a great distinction between a mere figure of speech? Or would he be willing to admit it's relatively true while not being absolutely true? Because Romans 1:18 might be used to show the distinction. We find in other passages a great connection between the Creator and his creation. One such passage, I think that was a good Freudian slip there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Passage is Colossians 1:16, which says all are created in Christ. See, that's that in that I said put in earlier, didn't I? I did say put that in earlier, but It don't matter. That was predestined. Sorry, sorry, I've been facetious there. The KJV hides the kick of this passage by saying all are created by Christ. The preposition is in, not by. But no matter, we're looking for connectedness, not distinction. JG and his gang must put plenty of distance between God and his creation, so that God will not be blamed for hell, nor have his character to be besmirched by an awful matter. But what if the distance is only temporary? What if it all started with the most intimate connectedness and will be completed with the most connectedness? Romans 1:18 is only a bump in the road. Kind of reverse. It raises some eyebrows, but it's not terribly clear about JG's version of hell and free will. No way. Anyway, we can go into detail on that. You know, the whole of Romans 1 is all of mankind pre-Calvary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why not read 2, 3? Get excited when you hit 4. Get really excited when you hit Romans 5. Obviously, that's when you start getting the real excitement kicks in. But come on, why be obsessed by the state of man pre-Calvary? Let's get obsessed about the state of man and the goodness of God post-Calvary. That's something to get excited about, personally. Right, anyway, but if all were created in Christ, Colossians 1:16, and if one died for all, therefore all died, 2 Corinthians 5:14, and if he, the last Adam, changes and completes everything lacking in the first Adam, 1 Corinthians 15:45, and he was roused as the first fruit of them that repose in the sleep of death, 1 Corinthians 15:20, then we have a wonderful story to tell about our God and our Father, right? That's called the gospel. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. The causer causes all or nothing. We're not so separated from him. All souls are mine, says some Old Testament verse. It's okay to be confused for now about the operations of God. For all is out of him, even confusion about this, that, and the other thing. So let me tell you about this JG. I'm so excited about what God is doing with that knucklehead. He can't help it that he is blind and stubborn to many things. God will bring the old boy at the end of himself, as he will each and every one of us. All that bragging and boasting will cease one day. And what a day that will be. Imagine that. God all in JG. What do you know? God's wrath? What a blessing. God's judgment? What a blessing. God's imprisonment? All up to unpersuadableness, that he might be merciful to all, Romans 11:32. In the wisdom of God, the world knew not God. 1 Corinthians 1:21. There you go. I'll see you haven't even finished. You haven't even finished.
Yeah, timestamp it here.
Don't leave, Max.
Yeah. Well, I agreed.
I mean, I don't have a lot to add right here. I'm just listening, you know.
I did agree with Mark.
I guess Juan wants to fight me all of a sudden.
No, I didn't.
I'm not
What's
running.
going on here? What's going on?
I'm gonna do my own.
Really deep. What's going on?
I joined, and then Max said, "Do you want to challenge me?" And I said,
"No, that is not what I said. I said, are you here to challenge me, Bon? Stop fucking lying."
No, you said, Bon.
Oh, Bon,
to challenge me, eh?
Bon, why are you misbehaving?
And there he goes. There he goes.
Oh, Bon, you're misbehaving today.
Am I?
You have. You've been very misbehaving everywhere I've seen.
No, I responded. I just have a question for Ace.
Oh, well, ask Ace a
I
question.
didn't cause any drama here.
No, I said you've been naughty. You have been naughty today.
Notice the person that did that left, and I just said I had a question for Ace.
Let me get Ace on the line. Hey, Ace, can you take a question? Yeah, I can take a question. Go ahead.
Okay. Ace, did Jesus go to the cross and say it was finished?
Yes, he did.
And by Jesus saying it was finished, do I have to do anything to make that happen?
You do not have to do anything to make it happen. It will make you happen.
Yes. And God's will be done, right?
Amen. God's will be done.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask.
Well,
That's some good news right there. That's good news.
Uh-huh.
That's really good news.
And here's some interesting news. We had a drive-by from Jack. Go ahead and read that for us, Bond. The call out.
Without free will, you dumb stooges wouldn't be making this video to promote your theological dog crap. Jack Smack. Jack Smack is capable of altering God's will.
He is?
Well, apparently, from his point of view.
He's got a lot of power, huh?
Oh yeah, he's stronger than the creator, right?
Mercy.
Well, it's my bedtime. Thank you very much for having me on. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone in our chat. I'll see you later.
Good night, buddy.
Farewell. Farewell. Has Max gone? Where's Max actually gone?
Max decided to leave the stream whenever you finished your reading for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was going to give my thing in marks. I was going to say I mostly agree that some nuances we chat about privately. So there you go. That's
what keeps you from, Bill, if I can ask, because I know you've said, or at least I think I've heard you say that you hope that like the quote unquote universalism view is true, right? I think I've heard you say that.
I have said that, yeah.
Yeah. So what exactly keeps you from believing that fully? If you don't mind me asking.
I think nuances, which there are a few, and I suppose my human nature erring on the side of caution. If you want me to be honest, I could lie and come out of bullshit, but I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Few nuances, and again, those nuances are spread throughout different forms, formulas, types of universalism anyway, because, you know, for me, again, I'm using this as a theoretical, all right? So don't quote me on this and say this and Bill said that. We're talking theoretically here, okay? If, say, tonight or tomorrow, I become theoretically a full-blown universalist, I would be of the universalist type, which is believes in the triunity of God, the deity of Christ, and salvation is afforded to all with blood. All right, and there are actually universalists believe that. You know, it's a broad church, it's a broad church is Calvinism. You go from 1 point to 5 points. There's a broad church is free grace. It's a broad church with many of these thoughts and doctrines and denominations. But, you know, if you ask me personally, I would like, you know, taking aside the nuances and my erring on the side of caution, of course I would absolutely love to believe that, you know, in full, that the universal reconciliation for man and all that is blood is true, and in and through the triune God, and especially because of this deity Christ at Calvary. Absolutely.
So, I mean, would it be fair to say like you're just maybe cautious about going that route because you care about the people and you want to see them believe?
Well, yeah, again, this is my humanity. This is my err on the side of caution. And you know, I, as the apostles were charged with, and this is what I like Ace for, we've given a charge to preach the gospel, the good news, the ministry of reconciliation. That's what we're charged to do. And in my understanding, I know Ace would differ, because Ace would say all will believe in the end, which is, let's pray it's right. But in the meantime, err on the side of caution, I want to be able to give a clear gospel, and the person, the listener, believes. Then I have a surety in my heart, this is for my conscience sake. Again, we're not talking about the doings and the wonderments and the hidden and the secrets of God. We're talking about according to my conscience and my heart and my conviction. I would want someone to believe in this Christ, his death, burial, and resurrection, to know that he is Savior. This is what I.
But how do you determine who actually truly believes versus those who thought they believed and then they were told, I never knew you? Like,
But
how do you?
but I never knew you is very specific to false prophets. We know that in context. So it's not even talking about, you know, people that say they believe and then didn't. No, it's
But
very
I mean,
specific.
What I mean is, it's like people like me, or there are some other people who have believed in the past,
Right.
and they've believed very dearly, and they were, I mean, sincere, and
But then they're saved.
and then they fell away, and then
Well,
they're told that no, you didn't believe, you never really actually believed.
I call bullshit on that, because, you know, again, the scripture's clear. The nanosecond anyone believes, that ever pass from death unto life. That's what scripture says. So, you know, I would say, yeah, apostasy is a sin, but do you think apostasy is unpardonable?
Well,
Prior Calvary, you know, Jesus spoke in theoretical terms about an unpardonable sin. That was pre-Calvary, but post-Calvary, you go to Colossians and all through the Pauline epistles, all sin is paid for. Unbelief is paid for. Apostasy is paid for. You know, look at your next door neighbour's, you know, wife in an unbecomingly manner is paid for.
So why do you think that there are all these people that have that idea and they believe fully that they're being led by the Holy Spirit in their belief and ideas? Why do you think that is? Because they're reading the same book you are.
Well, you'd have to ask. I'm afraid that's above my pay grade. That's God answers that one. But all I can say in clarity and assurance is, any and all who have believed at any point in Christ for a nanosecond have passed from death unto life. That's Bible.
But
and again,
go ahead. Sorry.
No. Again, apostasy is no small matter. It's a sin, but Christ paid for the sin of apostasy. You know, when Jesus cried aloud to tell us that it's finished, and then Paul kind of reiterates that, especially in Colossians, you know, that all sin, not some prior Calvary, but all sin, you know, is forgiven. I take him at his word. You know, he spent, you know, 3 years in Arabia with Christ. I didn't. I'm only human, but I do trust the Christ. I do trust the Apostle Paul that he actually had quality time with Christ, and the mystery which was concealed was revealed through the Apostle Paul. I take him seriously, and if he says all sins are forgiven, then all sins are forgiven, because Christ told him all sins are forgiven. And God is not a man. This is why it comes into the deity. This is why I fundamentally believe that that Christ is God.
Is unbelief a sin?
Of course it is. And it's paid for. How many people do you know are born
what'd you say?
believers?
Of course it is, or of course it isn't?
Yeah, of course it is. How many people do you know were born believers?
No one.
Exactly. So if that sin wasn't forgiven, that's it. No one's saved, are they?
Okay. So if the sin of unbelief was forgiven at the cross,
Yeah.
what do unbelievers have to fear?
Again, the issue isn't, and I've made this so clear to me, the issue isn't sin, it's son. Sin's been dealt with. Unbelief, apostasy, all these sins are paid for, and the issue isn't sin anymore. People are sin obsessed. I want people to be son obsessed.
Well, sin's not okay. So sin's not the problem anymore because Jesus solved that, right?
Yeah, the son.
So what's the problem? If
In my purview, the problem is, he that hath the son hath life, he that hath not the son hath not life. All right. Now, the difference between me and Ace, and again, I hope Ace is right. Don't get me. Don't ever even think I'm even slightly akin to Jill and JG and all these people.
No, I get it. You.
Yeah.
I think you're hopeful that Ace is correct, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course I am.
But my question is, if the wages of sin is death, and if sin has already been taken care of at the cross, then what's the issue?
Son. He that hath the son hath life. He that hath not the son hath not life.
But
and again, the issue, the differentiation between me and hopeful me and Ace is the son. If you have the son, you have the life.
Yeah, but
Ace believes, obviously, Ace believes that everyone's going to have the son. We can't dispute what I've just said there. Just Ace believes that everyone's going to have the son at the end, because every knee shall bow and every tongue confess.
Yes.
So they have the son.
Yes.
I'm just saying, while I'm alive, while I have breath, while I'm on terra firma, have the son now. Have the son now. That's the difference. The son is the difference.
But if what I'm asking is, I think Ace believes that if the wages of sin are death,
and we die,
and the cross settled all of that, then what is the issue going forward with people?
The issue is the son.
The issue is so. I'm not sure I understand what you just said.
Well, the issue is the son, not sin. That's what I'm being saying. You know,
so
death through first Adam, death has passed on all of us. We can't escape that unless we're of that blessed people that are going to be raptured and taken out and won't see.
We escaped it by Jesus on the cross.
Say again.
We escaped the sin and death by Jesus going to the cross.
No, we escape that the sin payment has been dealt with. We still die. Death is the last enemy. Death is the last enemy. That enemy, I'm sad to say, in reality is still, and this is going to say almost like oxymoron, death is still alive, if that makes sense. That's still alive and kicking, and we're all going to see death lest we get, raptured and taken out of here.
Why do I see death if Jesus already took care of that issue?
Because you're looking linear time. Because the abolition of actual death in our linear understanding is yet to come. But in God's understanding, man, I'm not God. Man, I'm not a quantum physicist or anything. I just see linear time. But God is beyond that time. So in God's eyes, death itself has already been dealt with outside of linear time. But in linear time, no, we're still going to bloody die unless we get raptured.
So are you...
Christ,
Are you saying
Christ was crucified before the foundation of the world. Work that out. In our linear time, that's impossible.
well,
2,000 years ago.
it's I don't think it's impossible to. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. Because in my view, if Jesus went to the cross
Yeah,
and he said it was finished,
yeah,
and he died, rose, he was resurrected
yeah,
for all our sins, all of
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
I don't understand if he did that at some point in time from our vantage view, like our vantage point, why that doesn't affect us.
It does. It breaches all time understanding. Doesn't it? It breaches our time, breaches, every time understanding. In our, the Apostle Paul, he says, literally if I died right now of a heart attack, I'll be seated in heavenly places that nanosecond in his time perspective. In linear time, I'm a bunch of bones and meat in a grave. Linear time. But outside of linear time, which God is so outside of, I'll be seated in heavenly places. Work that out. I can't work it out, but it is what it is.
I mean, it just seems pretty straightforward to me. And I think it seems pretty straightforward to Ace, is that God has a plan, he has a will, and he made it happen. And he sent his son, and his son, Jesus, said it was finished. And there's nothing you have to do in order to help the finished being finished.
Well, of course I ain't.
But I think, but you think, okay.
So yeah, so you look, bearing some ultimate factors. I've said forever that faith is a gift. So when I believe, why am I believing?
You
Why did
believe
I-
faith is a
Why
gift?
did I believe, Bond?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Why did I believe, Bond?
Well, if faith is a gift and you believe, you probably believe because God made you believe.
Gifted it. I
Yeah.
don't like the word made because I still believe we have volition, but the volition is so compulsive and so compelling. What else could I do?
Okay.
It'd be a name, wouldn't it? It'd be a name. If I was come out my front door and there was a Mercedes-Benz parked out my front door, and to look at the Mercedes-Benz and say, I can't see a Mercedes-Benz. I can kick against the pricks and say, there ain't a Mercedes-Benz. But the fact is, there's a Mercedes-Benz. I never put the Mercedes-Benz there. It was there. So, are we going to be of those who deny the truth in front of us?
But what if I'm blind and I can't see the Mercedes-Benz out there?
Well,
But it's still there.
so it drives up and there's a Braille Mercedes-Benz parked out then, all right? A Braille. It's in Braille.
I mean, I just think that if God is all powerful, he has a will, and his will be done. And Jesus said it's finished, and all will be of God. I don't see how I can do anything to save myself.
We can't save yourself.
But I think a lot of people say that, and they don't mean to say that, but they still do.
I just believe that you have to believe. And I also believe that belief comes from God anyway.
You have to believe in addition to what Jesus did at the cross.
No, you have to believe because Jesus gave you the belief in the first place.
But what if he didn't give me the belief? He didn't give me the belief right now.
Well, he did. The scripture's clear. He gives everyone a measure of faith, and faith is belief. That one and the same. One is a verb.
Then why do I struggle with that right now?
I don't know. Why do you struggle? Tell me.
I don't know.
Well, you have to tell me because I'm not a mind reader.
But I don't understand how my mind can overpower what God implemented, like what he imprinted on my heart.
Well, the heart and the mind are the same thing.
Well, I mean, he wrote everything on my heart, right?
Yeah, the mind. The heart and the mind are one and the same. Don't be confused about that.
Yeah. So if he did that, how does my little mortal feeble mind override God's penciling in of what he's telling me?
Well, because you can kick against the pricks. It's hard, but you can kick.
Yeah, you can kick, but am I stronger than God's?
Well, no. But you can kick.
Yeah, I can kick, but I would still believe.
So, the way you'll come across, and forgive me if I'm wrong, is you're a confused believer and a bit antagonistic towards the belief because there's confusions and shit going on.
I was a believer at one point.
And
yes, I believed in the Bible. I believed in the God of the Bible.
That's like saying I was me once, but I'm no longer me. You are either you are or you ain't.
No, well,
so
I believe. I'll tell you what I believe.
So at worst, you're a confused apostate believer then.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably me.
Well, it would be. It's exactly you. You believe,
or I could be a non-elect Calvinist.
But come on, that's big. I don't do that. You don't know.
I mean, it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, I know. I'm a semi-determinist. I know. Ace is full-blown determinist. I think. Don't let me speak for you, Ace. Interject with your stream. I'm just here.
Well, I didn't interject because it seemed like Bond wanted to talk to you about matters.
All right. Okay.
I'll talk to. I mean.
Well, so in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say in England.
Still a little upset about England winning today, but
do they win?
They got third.
Oh, we did that. I didn't watch because I'm not interested in football, but I'm glad we actually came third. It's better.
I think you meant soccer, but
yeah.
Just lighten things up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, at least we got that anyway.
Yeah, they got third. They beat was it France or
yeah, France. I'm glad we beat again. I don't care what position we came, as long as we beat the bloody French, that's all that matters. Because I don't know if you know, there's history between England and France, and we really don't like them, and they really don't like them.
Oh yeah, well, France, didn't they help us send y'all home from our soil?
Yeah, the wrong team. The English were helping the Confederate Army, and the French were helping the bloody Yankees. And, and we was fighting the French at the same time, bloody Napoleon. We was fighting everyone prior to that. We've always been fighting the French, and the French have always been gits. So the French backed the Yankees, so they won. And we was already fighting so many wars and helping the bloody Confederate Army. We was like hemorrhaging. We fought too many battles. That's why the Bible says, you've got to work out and calculate. Two kings don't go to war unless they work out and calculate these things. And unfortunately, England was fighting 20 kings, so we couldn't beat the bloody Yankees.
Y'all just control the world.
Well, some say we control the world, but I don't think so anymore.
Oh, well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Back then, maybe, you know.
Up to about the mid 1800s. Yeah, we was like champions.
Yeah, y'all were a powerhouse for sure.
But we'd still be champions if the Confederates won, because they was our friends back in the day. I'll get in trouble for saying that.
Yeah, if the South would have won, that's probably true.
Yeah, but they do say the South will rise again.
Well, I hope my South rises again.
My South has always risen, but that's the different topic for another day and personal and private.
I'm not in the South. I'm in Texas. We are our own country.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always see the question, if you had to move out of your country, where would you move to? And I say, if I had to move out of my country, I'd move to the United States.
Yeah. If I ever emigrated to America, I'd have to emigrate down south. I wouldn't want to go near all them northerners because they're like miserable bastards.
I think you would probably want to go to probably the hill country in Texas if you came over here.
As long as they've got like the southern kind of thing going on. My brother lives down in the south in America. My brother does.
The reason why I say the hill country in Texas is because there's a lot of trees, a lot of fresh air. It's open area, and you still get really good barbecue.
All right.
Good brisket. So
yeah. As long as they fly the Confederate flag, I'll be all right.
Oh yeah, that's being flown everywhere.
Yeah, it needs to be. That needs to be.
Ace has a Confederate flag, probably.
And so he should.
I do.
So he should. Then see, the thing is, them southern Confederate Christians were like destroyed by the bloody French, bloody atheist Yankees. That's what happened.
See, I don't even like the Yankees. I don't even like them. We got something in common.
I think that this is why probably real English, we're not talking politics and shit here, but the real English man, I suppose, is like the Southern America. We just want to be left the fuck alone. Just leave us alone.
Yeah.
I want to be able to drink me beer. I want to be able to smoke me smokes. I want to be able to do my own shit without bloody governmental interference and fucking just leave us alone.
Yeah, just let us live.
That's true. That's the true English spirit, and I think that was passed on to those in the Confederate States, especially. Just leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah,
do your own like shit up there. Do your railroads. Do your bloody whatever you want to do up there. Just piss off. I'm happy to drink me beer and have me smoke.
Yeah,
and get on.
Yeah, that's kind of the mentality here. Is just like, just let us be. Let us live. You know, the government can protect us against foreign powers.
Yeah.
You know,
other than that,
invasions. But outside of that, just
leave us alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the true spirit of what the true America was supposed to be founded on. But since them Yankees bloody took over, that all went to shit, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm not going to get in so much trouble over here for saying.
No. When I go watch reenactments, I root for the home team.
Yeah.
See, Bill, we don't have much. We got stuff in common.
We have got stuff in common, but you was
sometimes I am a little naughty.
Yeah, you was a bit naughty earlier to the wife. You was a bit naughty.
Maybe I was feeling some sort of.
No, you was not maybe. You was naughty.
Was I? How was I naughty?
Yes.
Was it because I had harsh words?
Yeah, because the wife was fond of you, and you were like upset. You didn't need to.
No, what I said was nobody cares about anyone's private lives. And I think I mentioned you and her. And that's a fair statement, isn't it? I don't care about your private life.
No, but other people do, and they keep interfering.
Yeah,
The bloody
and-
Yankees.
But that's what the point of what I was saying was that I don't understand why people care about the private lives of people
Well, I don't know
or their
either.
past.
I don't know either. It's very, I don't know. It's disturbing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And I've been very vocal about certain turnips
Yeah.
and
Well, maybe
archives.
maybe you was misunderstood, perhaps. Then
Maybe so. And I have an ego. I'm not gonna lie, and I
have beer.
I have an ego, and sometimes I partake in whiskey, and so I get a little feisty at times, But I don't mean any personal harm to
That's
anyone.
all right. Then I shall pass on that message to my beloved.
Yeah. I don't mean any personal harm or anything like that.
That's all right.
I don't like to bring up family or anything like that, or personal lives, or even the past that might have been brought up, because all of us have a past. I have a past, So
I'm waiting for Ace to bring in some deep spiritual stuff.
Ace is smoking his pipe, and I'm sipping the
Well, that's
whiskey.
almost spiritual, even there, isn't it?
Bill, what beer are you enjoying tonight?
I've had some Abbott ale.
An ale?
Abbott, ales. Yeah, I don't drink beer or lager. It's ales. That so more natural, tastier and more wholesome. So
Is it a local thing or?
Well, it was 30 years ago, but Abbott Ale has become so popular now that the bloody Chinese bought it up, and that's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What percent is it?
4.5%.
Like 4.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of whiskey right here that I'm sipping on. Just enjoying the evening.
That cleanse your arteries. Whiskey will cleanse your arteries.
It'll cleanse. It will clear out a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You got calcification around your arteries. Whiskey, that's going to cleanse it.
I need to get a pipe and smoke like the Ace, so I can get on camera and smoke.
I've got a couple of pipes.
I smoked. So when I was a kid, I think I was like 10 years old. Me and my cousins started a fire in the backyard, and it got out of control. And then we had to put it out, and I inhaled so much smoke that I told myself I would never smoke again in my life. And then on my 18th birthday, I smoked like 2.5 cigarettes, and then I never did again.
All right.
So, Bond, have you ever heard me talk about God's Ionian calendar?
I don't think so.
It might answer a lot of your questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the figure of speech about an earnest payment. Do you know what an earnest is?
No, I don't think I do.
In finance, in the stock market or the real estate market, you put a deposit down, you take an option, and you'll complete the option. You'll take possession later on.
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
And Paul uses this phrase earnest in first chapter of Ephesians. And so it's a fine figure for what God is doing. When Christ said, "It is finished," this is the down payment. when Christ rose from the dead,
Mhm.
he rose from the dead as the first fruit of those who repose in the sleep of death. So because of this earnest payment, now we know what to expect. Because when you make when you put an option payment down on a piece of real estate or a stock market stock, you are going to take possession. That's your intention. You're going to do it. And a lot of other people don't know what you're doing because you just put an earnest down. But you got big plans. If it's real estate, then you got big plans on building a house or a McDonald's franchise on the property or whatever. You put the earnest payment down and you're going to fulfill later on. You might not start building for a year or 2 or 3, whatever. But that earnest payment is key. And so Christ died and we all died with him. And so this is what happens to Christ happens to all, because Colossians 1:16 says all were created in him. And you keep reading 16, 17, 18, all the way to 20. And you see that Christ is so connected to all of creation that whatever happens to Christ happens to all. And we kind of see this same figure brought over into the idea of the kinsman redeemer from the Old Testament. The firstborn in a family, he takes over the father's role when he enters into sonship, right? And if you're in that family and you get into trouble, it's up to the firstborn to rescue you, to redeem you. He's got a kinsman redeemer role to play. And it was such a serious thing in the Old Testament. We can see this worked out with Ruth and Boaz. Ruth got in trouble. Her family got in trouble. And the kinsman redeemer was supposed to redeem her. And she approaches the firstborn to redeem her. And he passed on the offer because he already had a wife. Because in this case, the redemption would mean that Ruth would become his wife as well. But he already had a wife. He didn't want any more trouble. So he passed on that kinsman redeemer obligation. And guess what? It was so serious that if you passed on the kinsman redeemer obligation, you didn't redeem your family, your name was blotted out of the lineage. And that guy who was supposed to redeem Ruth, in the Old Testament, it says his name is so-and-so. And she was supposed to take off one of his sandals. So he would be known as the house of the pulled off sandal. It was a dishonor, a great dishonor, because he did not redeem. And so Christ is the firstborn of creation. He is our true kinsman redeemer. And if he doesn't redeem, he doesn't get a name above all names. But because he does redeem all of creation, we're told that he gets a name above all names, and every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. So the kinsman redeemer comes along. Let's say you're in debt and you're in debtor's prison. And there is no discussion with you. There's no free will about this matter. You're in debtor's prison. No one's even talking to you. It's dark. It stinks. No one's talking to you, but your elder brother, the firstborn of the family, comes along and negotiates with the debt owner and the jailer, and he redeems you. You're redeemed, and you have no input about the matter. There's not a free will discussion. There's no offer to redeem you. You are redeemed, and there's no discussion about it. The kinsman redeemer redeems. And so when Paul uses this phrase, an earnest, it's a really colorful figure of speech as to what God is doing. Because if he lays down a deposit, and that deposit is Christ going to the cross and saying, it is finished, and all the activity that went on between the cross and the resurrection day, because Romans 5:25 says, he went to the cross because of our sins. He went to the cross because of our sins. And all the Christians won't argue with that one. Yes, he went to the cross because of our sins. But if you finish the sentence, it says he was roused because of our justification. So somewhere between the cross, him dying and him being raised, we were all justified. He was roused because of our justification. And so during these eons of time, and it appears that there are 5 eons in God's Aeonian plan, we're now in the third one. This third eon began with Noah's flood. This third eon is called, Paul calls it this wicked eon in Galatians 1:4. And so he calls it this wicked eon. So this wicked eon will come to a close with an earthquake that accompanies Christ's return to begin the 1,000-year reign of Christ. So the 1,000-year reign of Christ would be the 4th eon of time. And then there's one more eon after that. But because Christ did the down payment, shall we say, on the cross, he paid for everyone's sin. He is the true kinsman redeemer. We will see, we fully expect and have faith that it will work out perfectly, because this is the divine operation of God. We don't have a say in the matter. We are sitting in debtor's prison, figuratively speaking. And Jesus is negotiating with the debt holder, which in a figurative way would be God. So Jesus buys us. He owns us. He put down the down payment, and he will collect us all in good time. And so we still have some stuff to do, because we still got to go through the 1,000-year reign of Christ, and that looks scary. And then after that, there's one more eon of time. And we, from the scriptures, we know that during that final eon of time, 4 important things will happen. Rulership will be abolished. Authority will be abolished. Rulership, authority, and power will be abolished. And then finally, death will be abolished. And then God will be all in all. All because of what Christ did on the cross.
Yeah.
And let me bump up this so you can take a look at it a little better. Is that big enough?
Yeah, I can say. I was trying to zoom in on it earlier.
Okay, so this is a chart of every word or phrase in the scriptures that seems to have something to do with time and what goes on during time. Okay, so in the first column here is the map, the legend of the map, like the 3 heavens and the 3 earths, the creations, the times, the 5 worlds, the eras, the 5 eons, the 12 administrations, the week's work, the 4 monarchs, the 3 days, and the unseen. Then you move across the calendar, and it breaks it down even more. And there are, for every little entry here, almost every little entry, there is a scriptural reference regarding what we're seeing here mapped out. And so in this section here, the 12 administrations, or the 12 ways God deals with things. So we've got, with Adam, God dealt with him in an administration of innocence. With Seth, there was conscience. With Noah came human government. With Abraham, the promise. The law was given by Moses. Jesus shows up in his incarnation. After that, there's Pentecost with Peter. And with Paul, there's a transition from the Pentecostal administration to a secret administration, which is pure grace all the time. And then at the 1,000-year, at the entryway of the 1,000-year reign of Christ is the 7 bowls of wrath and so forth. That would be the judgment. And then the 1,000-year reign of Christ would be called the kingdom of the Son of Man. And then the great white throne interrupts it stops the 1,000-year reign of Christ and introduces the final eon of time, which is called the eon of the eons. And when they made this chart over 100 years ago, up here it says on this item, this panel is tracking the 5 eons of time, right? So we got the first eon of time begins before, or it starts somewhere before Genesis 1:1. And the second eon of time begins with Genesis 1:2. And the third eon of time begins with Noah's flood. And then when they get over here with that 1,000-year reign of Christ, they pull a little joke on us in the chart. It says forever ends here. And over here on the last one, it says and ever ends here. Isn't that a cute joke? Forever ends here and ever ends here. But this is a fun chart, and you can find it over on concordant.org.
Concordant.org. Okay. I was about to ask you where I could get that chart, like that down.
Yeah, you can download it as PDF or buy it for $12 and already printed out.
Yeah.
I have one framed in my office up on the wall. So at the beginning of it all, God is all in himself. And then he begins creation itself. And then to follow through, we get from Romans 11:36, all is out of God. And we trace it out. All is through God, Romans 11:36. And then finally, all is for God, Romans 11:36. So God, at the beginning, God is all in himself. At the end, God is all in all.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot, right?
Yeah, well, it's a lot to learn and it's a lot to unlearn, because in regular old Christianity, they don't honor the time words in the Bible. They really screw around with the time words.
Yeah, that, and I mean, it's a lot to try to wrap your mind around.
Yeah, well, you did a good job by saying Jesus said it is finished, and there we go. You don't need much more than that. If he said it is finished, then can we believe him?
Yeah, like, is it finished, or is it finished until you do this extra thing?
No, right? Nobody has to do anything. God has to do everything.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at is Jesus said it's finished. Now, for me to be saved or me to whatever, do I have to add to that? Do I have to do something, or was it finished?
The only way I would use the word have to is you have to believe because it's true. Not to make it true. It's already true. Dude, you have to believe it sooner or later.
You have to believe it.
Because it's true.
Unless God doesn't gift you with that belief, you know?
Because unbelief is a very important element of God's operation for the moment.
Yeah. I mean,
because God brings us who believe, he brings us out of unbelief.
Yeah.
And so if he doesn't bring us out of unbelief,
some people out of belief.
Yes, he brings us out of unbelief. But if he doesn't bring everybody else out of unbelief, that's just his doings for now. They will not stay there. Every knee will bow in that great day. I mean, imagine, just thinking psychologically, you up and die in a car accident. You're dead for 1,000 years, 5,000 years, whatever. You're unconscious. You're dead.
Yeah.
And then God raises you from the dead. Who is not going to believe in that day when God raises you from the dead?
Yeah,
you're just going to say, dude, what happened?
You're seeing God in Jesus, and then you just fall down to your knees. Like, I mean, at that point, you truly believe, right?
At that point, every kind of emotion is absolutely changed. Because let's say God raises you from the, let's say you got killed by a Mexican mobster, and with your very last breath, you say, fuck you, you're really mad at him, right? You have this emotion of hatred toward the Mexican mobster, right? And then God raises you from the dead at the same time as he raises the Mexican mobster from the dead. Are you going to have any animosity to him or him toward you? I mean, it can't be. It's going to be like, dude, what just happened? This is great.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird to me that people, how do I put this? people want to talk about God and all his power and how he controls everything, how God's will be done. And then they also, in the next breath, talk about how people can prevent the will be done.
There is a lot of ignorance out there about the things of God. And this is of God. That
Because because like, I mean, you hear all these people saying like, you have this free will choice to believe or not to believe, but
and
then they
I
also
boldly
say,
say that is bullshit. I don't.
yeah, and then they also say at the same
Isn't it funny
time,
that I'm the only one on these parts, that boldly says it's bullshit.
and then you're called crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right? You're called crazy by the Arminians and the Calvinists.
Yeah. I'll put the
But
link in the public chat and the private chat for you,
okay,
where you can get that calendar.
yeah, I'll go grab that.
But yeah, it's just funny that people love their free will so much that they defend it, and they don't
Mhm.
even make any sense with their arguments.
Yeah, I think it's a sense of wanting to have some sort of control over
Mhm.
their life and destiny, and I think there's some pride and ego there that like, I chose to believe in God or in what Jesus did.
Yeah,
Right?
and therefore God owes me a pat on the back.
Yeah. I did this. You didn't do this.
Mhm.
So therefore I get this reward.
Mhm.
I think it's just ego, pride. And I have ego. I'm not gonna lie. I do.
Really?
I think everyone does, but
Yeah.
um, you know, it, it it's hard for me to to imagine a creator, a God that create, like, when you step back and think about it, right? Even as a non-believer, like when you step back and think about it, like if you imagine something that created everything that we experience,
Yeah.
like everything, right? They brought it into existence. And then to minimize them by saying you can override their will
Mhm.
or their desires, like that's mind-blowing to me.
It's vain imagination.
Yeah, I mean, because
Paul uses that term about these
Mhm.
knuckleheads. They have vain imagination.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not a believer. I believe in a deity of some sort, I guess you could say. But I can't imagine. It just blows my mind if you believe in the Christian God of the Bible, read His Word, and then think that you can somehow, some way, you can override His will,
Yeah.
and then somehow, some way, Jesus says it's finished,
Mhm.
but then you say, yeah, it's finished, but you still got to do this. It's hard for me to imagine.
Hey, do I have your email address?
I don't think so.
Well, stick it in the private chat, and
Okay.
I, and
I'll put
I will mail you a copy of the Will Powell letters. Have you ever heard of the Will Powell letters?
No, I haven't.
Well, we did like a 2-week reading of the Will Powell letters on this channel a couple of months ago. I have a collection of his letters. He mailed them to me 30 years ago. I've been dragging them around. I finally, Lord help me. I got them all digitized, and so
Mm-hmm.
I can send it to you as a PDF. But his son committed suicide because they were going to a regular fundamentalist evangelical church.
Mm-hmm.
His son committed suicide because he believed the Christian bullshit message that God is really pissed at you and you must please the unpleasable God. His son was just depressed over the Christian message and committed suicide. And so Will Powell spent years writing to famous Christian ministers, and his most common opening line to that minister would be, "Is my son in hell?"
Mm.
And of course,
Is my
some
son in
Christians said yes, he is in hell, and then some Christians just avoided the question, right?
Yeah.
But I have a collection of his letters, and they're really fun to read, and I think you'll get
Yeah. No, I put my email in the private chat.
Uh-huh.
So just send them there. Let me check. Make sure I typed it right. Yeah. Just send them there. I would love to read those. But I'm gonna go ahead and go. I enjoyed it, and hopefully when you're live next time, I can join as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So I appreciate you letting me on, and I will go now.
Bye-bye. How are you?
Ace,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm fine. What's up, brother?
Nothing. I figured maybe if you wanted a second reading, I would read it,
Perfect.
or I'll read whatever you wish to be read.
Okay. Hang on a second. Doing a little housekeeping here. Oh, yeah. There we go. I'm ready.
All right. If God does not cause all, then there is no God at all. And it's all random. Yeah, random. You know, it's funny. I saw a video about, how they say evolutionist life came from random, from no life.
Yeah.
And I looked at all the math because, they say there's over 500 amino acids in nature and you need 20 to begin to form life. And of those 20, because there's left hand and right hand amino acids. They all have to be left hand. And the chance of that happening is 10 to the 45th power.
Lord have mercy. That sounds like an impossibility, huh?
Yeah. And then once that's done, then they have to bond. And there's two types of bonding, and it has to be the correct bond. So again, it's 10 to the 45th power. And then when that happens, before that happens, there has to be in the right sequence. and finding the right sequence, I think it's at 10 to the 174th power.
Wow.
And once all that's done, then you form one protein.
Uh-huh.
And you need a minimum, depending on what cell you're wanting to form, you need between 250 to 400 proteins.
Huh.
So that entire process has to go through again.
Wow.
And there was a chemist, molecular chemist, that said once he did all the math, he was no longer an atheist,
Wow.
seeing that something had to create life.
Right.
All right, so that's the end of my story. I just thought it was interesting, the
Good, yeah.
probability of it being improbable.
Uh-huh.
So the preacher who's on about morals and ethics knows not God. The preacher whose focus is on human morals and ethics cannot see God. And a godless preacher preaching morals and ethics is little more than a tool of the state. These guys, these preachers who don't know God, who dare to suggest that you save yourself from endless woe, are really preaching that it's all random and there is no causer. But the very word God means causer. And if you don't like causer, try disposer or placer or subjector. So this moralistic dude wants you to stop sinning. And your sin is all he can see.
Yeah.
He can't he can't see his own sin. He can't see anything close to a big picture. He will never tell you that all is of God, nor will he tell you that God gives to all life and breath and all, Romans 11:36 and Acts 17:25. By denying divine causality, this moralistic big shot is reduced to a puddle of blathering about man's will and man's responsibility.
Lord have mercy.
But don't let the blathering fool you. He's really blathering about randomness. You see, according to him, nothing caused this or that. It was all just random. According to him, anything that happens just happens. Don't blame God. Yes, you may blame the creature for his condition, but don't blame God or credit God. For after all, God didn't design it, create it, cause it, or place it.
Yikes.
It just happened. Get it? It was random, nothing more. According to this shallow-minded overlord, the only thing God has made certain of is this: you will go to hell if you don't create a good life for yourself and make yourself worthy of heaven.
Wow.
It gets worse. For these guys somehow believe that pain and suffering is not from God. Oh no, God would never create pain and suffering. If you have pain and suffering, it must then be your own damn fault. Don't blame
Wow.
God. Blame yourself and do better. If you do better, you will eliminate pain and suffering, and especially the pain and suffering of endless hell, separated from God eternally. These guys don't see all the coming out of God. Shucks no. They see man and all man's doings, and thus the center of their conversation is all about man and man's free will and free will actions. And don't forget, nothing caused a man to act the way he did. It was all random. No causes. Don't talk about causes because it might lead back to God. And we can't have that. I'm not kidding. These guys put a great distance between God and his creation, to the point that they say man's will is independent of God. Come closer. Let me ask you, can anything be independent of God? If God is God, then God is all. And if anything is independent of God, especially man's will, then there is no God. There is just man. And even man is uncertain. For at best, man is only around for 70 to 80 years or so. These moralistic preachers know nothing of the purpose of God. They don't know the Son. They don't know the interaction between the Father and the Son. It's funny. They are certain about hell, but the rest of their blathering is all about the uncertainty about everything else. God is God. Man is God's creation. Man is caused by God. Man is subject to God. Man is placed by God and is disposed by God. Man's destiny is determined by the determiner of all. Man has no so-called free will. The moralistic preacher would tell everyone that their will is totally free of influence and causality, but it's only a setup to a grift. And no sooner than the words fall out of the moralist preacher's mouth, he is on and on about how you might go to hell if you don't follow his program of holiness living. That jackass won't shut up about how God is going to hold you personally responsible for every infraction because God gave you everything you need to live a moral, sinless life. And then God, well, he took a vacation. And if you need any more help, you might pray. But no matter, it's now on you. Yes, it's all on you. Don't blame God if you get into any kind of trouble. And for sure, don't blame God if you go to an endless hell of pain and conscious torture throughout eternity. It's all on you. Because the separation between you and God is great, too great for God to be bothered with. Remember our old pal JG? Well, every chance he gets, he's quoting Romans 1:18, King James Version style. It says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness." And somehow he sees in verse 18 that man is already far, far from God. Irredeemable far. And yep, he says there is a great distinction between God and man. And there's nothing left in the story to tell except wrath, 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 and more wrath. From this passage, the moralist preacher says to get your moral act together or pay the price. The moralist dude lives for unrighteousness and ungodliness. He makes his living off of that. Man's unrighteousness and ungodliness is currency to him.
Yeah.
Man and man's sin is the hot topic of conversation with them. God and God's doings doesn't interest them a bit. Anyway, may God save us from such blindness, and may God open our eyes to see that indeed all is out of him and through him and for him. A new frontier in this journey of faith. Grace to you. You're out of him and through him and for him. Ace Theo, placed. P.S. Fear not, neither let your heart be afraid. P.P.S. The Colossians 1:16 response. Dear Mr. Free Will Dude, what made you willing?
Oh my God, what a question, huh?
Yeah. Does God cause a fellow to be willing to do this or that? Does God cause a fellow to be unwilling to do this or that? So when our old pal JG harps on us about Romans 1:18 and that there is a great distinction between the Creator and his creatures, as if that justify God burning the sinner in some kind of endless hell, we would ask, is that boy willing to admit that saying that there is a great distinction between a mere figure of speech? Or would he be willing to admit it's relatively true, while not be absolutely true? Because Romans 1:18 might be used to show the distinction, we find in other passages a great connection between the Creator and his creation. One such passage is Colossians 1:16, which says, all are created in Christ. The KJV hides the kick of this passage by saying, all are created by Christ. The preposition is in, not by. But no matter, we're looking for connectedness, not distinction. JG and his gang must put plenty of distance between God and his creation, so that God will not be blamed for hell, nor have his character to be smirched by the awful matter. But what if the distance is only temporary? What if it all started with the most intimate connectedness and will be completed with all the most connectedness? Romans 1:18 is only a bump in the road kind of verse. It raises some eyebrows, but it's not terribly clear about JG's version of hell and free will. No way. But if all were created in Christ, Colossians 1:16, and if one died for all, therefore all died, 2 Corinthians 5:14, and if he, as the last Adam, changes and completes everything lacking in the first Adam, 1 Corinthians 15:45, and he was roused as the first fruit of them that repose in the sleep of death, 1 Corinthians 15:20, then we have a wonderful story to tell about our God and Father, right? The causer causes all or nothing. We're not so separated from him. All souls are mine, says some Old Testament verse. It's okay to be confused for now about the operations of God, for all is out of him, even confusion about this, that, and the other thing. So let me tell you this about JG. I'm so excited about what God is doing with that knucklehead. He can't help it that he is blind and stubborn to many things. God will bring the old boy to the end of himself, as he will with each and every one of us. All that bragging and boasting will cease one day. And what a day that will be. Imagine that. God, all in JG.
Wow.
What do you know? God's wrath? What a blessing. God's judgment? What a blessing. God's imprisoning all in unpersuadableness, that he might be merciful to all. Romans 11:32. In the wisdom of God, the world knew not God. 1 Corinthians 1:21. I like it.
Mm-hmm. In the wisdom of God, the world does not know God. That's God's wisdom.
Yeah, it's interesting that anybody would use verses in Romans like 1:18. I mean, because Paul's describing all of mankind.
Mhm.
This is what you were. Now this is what Christ did later on in the chapters. So you can't go to that and then say, okay, this is it. There is nothing else after this.
Yeah, it says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness." Okay,
Yep, that's true. That's a fact.
yeah. Is this wrath of God the same thing as eternal conscious torment in hell?
No,
Uh,
not according to the
that would be
Bible.
punished. That would be pushing it, right?
Yeah, that would be unjust.
Why did you make me thus? Romans 9. Why did you make me thus? You know, when somebody says that, it reveals conceit. I'm special. Why did you make me thus?
Right.
It also reveals that they have no control, because if they're actually saying, "Why did you make me thus?" they're admitting that they are thus, and they're admitting that God made them thus.
Right.
A lot of revelation going on in that little conceited question.
Because if man had free will, like they all talk about, then they could change their predicaments.
Right. And they wouldn't even ask that question. They would use their free will and make themselves in their own image, right?
Yep.
They'd pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
And even if they could change all their predicaments with wealth, they can't change the fact that death is on their heels.
Oh, yeah.
You can't will that away. Yep, like Tony was saying, if they would just talk about a will, that's fine. But being free from all influences, and it's not just God's influence, there's an entire realm of dark forces out there.
Yeah.
In time. I looked up Romans 12:3
Uh-huh.
a little bit ago because of what Bill said, that Spirit's given to every man, which it does say that in the KJV, but it doesn't say that in the Greek.
Yeah, what's it say?
It doesn't say anything about being given to every man. because Paul was talking to, well, the Romans.
Mm-hmm. The Roman saints.
Yep.
It's funny, in communication, just one word or sometimes one comma can really throw you off.
Oh, yeah. Truly, truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good example.
Truly, truly, today, I tell you, you will be with me in paradise.
That's an entirely different meaning, huh?
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion out there. I mean, actually, it's double stacked. God gives stubbornness, imprisons all mankind.
Yeah.
And then, according to 2 Corinthians 4:4, you have Satan on the other side, apprehending the minds of mankind, deceiving them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of twofold. Not only are you stubborn, but you're filled with all this garbage. But even that is not an issue when God calls you.
Yeah, I'm totally excited about what God is doing in JG's life.
In time,
Mm-hmm.
it could happen in this era. We
Yeah.
don't know. God's in control. I'm good with that.
Sleep good last night?
I did.
Have any crazy dreams?
Not that I recall. Sometimes I'll fall asleep to something on YouTube, which I quit doing because I've had crazy dreams. And then I wake up and it's a hellfire preacher
Yeah.
talking to me. It's like, oh man, no, gotta quit doing that. I had a dream one night that you and Amicus were in. And Amicus was preaching as usual. It's like, oh, can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Years ago, I fell asleep on the couch with the TV running, and I had a dream, and it was being influenced by the Don Lepre infomercial.
Yeah.
You remember Don Lepre?
No.
Yeah, he said over and over again in his commercial, he said, I made $1 million from my 1-bedroom apartment.
Oh
Just
yeah.
kept saying it over, and in my dream, I was yelling, shut up, shut up, shut up. And then I woke up and I realized, oh, it's just a damn commercial.
Yeah, it's amazing how the brain picks up on things that are happening around while you're sleeping.
Yeah. Okay, exit stage right. Thanks for coming in to read, Rick.
My pleasure.
I'll put in the after show link if you want to come in and hang out for a few more minutes. Boys and girls. Whoops. I put in the wrong thing there. Hang on. Got it. Good night, Brother Vet and Deborah and anybody else who was hanging around. And Don Wagner too. Exit stage right.